Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Today on our investigative journalism segment Action TV, we take a look at a meeting that was held at the Temple Trees in Colombo on the 4th of January this year. We are joined by Chaturanga Haparachi from the Newsfirst newsroom with the details. Chaturanga?
Thank you, Arundhati. At the outset, let me tell you that the story we are going to discuss today revolves around the Education Ministry, the Minister and the Secretary to the Ministry of Education. Now, we also have to remember that on the 10th of February, we are going to see the local government elections happening in our country. So, when that is happening, there are certain election laws that are prevailing, and obviously there are certain rules and regulations that are put in place already when gathering people to one location. I'm going to explain to you of a situation where 3,000 school principals were invited to the Temple Trees in Colombo for an awareness program on the 4th of January this year. Now, these 3,000 school principals were brought for an awareness program on mobile lab kits that are to be distributed in all the schools, or in these 3,000 schools, if you are going to take a look at this. Now, on the day of this awareness program, we saw the Minister of Education, Akila Viraj Karyawasam, and the Prime Minister both addressing these 3,000 principals, the officials, state sector officials who were present at that location. Obviously, they spoke about their political agenda and they spoke about the future plans of the United National Party-led government. Now, is this correct when there is an election that is coming up on the 10th of February in this year? Now, the question here is that this is in violation of two separate laws in our country. One is, when a principal, a state sector official is invited to an event like this, that person has to record himself as obtaining leave from the school for an official purpose. So he or she has to have a document with him with an invitation to say, I am going to this event on this particular day on an official matter, so therefore I need off or I need a holiday on that particular day. But the funny part here is that this document to say that they are invited, or the invitation for this meeting on the 4th of January was given to them on the day of the event, that is on the 4th. And you might ask me how they were invited. They were invited over the phone. They were given a phone call. Now, this letter is signed by the Director of Education, and within bracket it says Science. So, while this meeting was going on, though this letter is dated 2nd of January 2018, this went to the hands of the principals who attended this particular event on the 4th when they actually attended. They also gave another letter to them. This was the attendance certificate to say that these 3,000 principals attended this special program, to say that they can actually apply leave after they go back to their schools. Now, this is a problem, because the suspicion here is that they might have done this because then the Elections Commission might find out of what is going on and they might intervene. So they wanted to avoid that. They made sure that this document goes to the hand of the principal on the day of the event. Now, we are going to talk to you about a lab kit. The awareness program was for a lab kit that is going to be provided. This lab kit costs around 120,000 rupees. There are 3,000 school principals, so if we imagine that this is going to be given to 3,000 students, or 3,000 schools rather, the value stands at a staggering 360 million rupees.
Now, Chaturanga, can you tell us, can this mobile lab kit provide practical education to students from grade 6 to 11?
Yes, that is an interesting question, Arundhati, because we saw during the former regime, even though allegations were raised that the allocation made for education through the budget was very less, we saw complete laboratories being put in. We saw the Mahindodaya program happening. Now, this government has actually promised that they would increase the allocations for the education through the budget. We also have information to say that 55% of the allocation through the budget goes back without being taken use of or being utilized. Now, the problem here is 360 million rupees spent. As you correctly asked me, is this a practical solution to the problem? Can this provide practical education to the students from grade 6 to 11? How many students are going to be using this? And this, the kit that we are seeing in the visuals, is it going to be durable? Is it long lasting? Are very good questions. Now, Arundhati, finally, when we are talking about a project, when you are talking about a tender for 360 million rupees, the most important question is, have they followed proper tender procedure? All these questions are unanswered. And once again, is it right for the government to gather state sector officials going against the circulars that are issued, going against the election law of our country, and bring them all into one place? These are all questions that the government has to look into.